5 untold benefits of drinking ayahuasca. Number 1, you start telling the truth. Or if you were telling the truth but had small white lies, those go. Ayahuasca, for me, my experience has been that it's the medicine of truth. It confronts you in every area where you're living a lie. Perhaps it is very overtly or very subtle. But ayahuasca calls you out on your nonsense. No matter how small it is, it shows you where you're acting out of integrity, where you aren't who you could be, where you're betraying that deepest truth, that greatest potential that lies within you. And that starts with the lies that you tell others and the lies that you tell yourself. When you drink ayahuasca, if you have a proper experience, it's very difficult to lie after that. Because now you understand the implications. You understand that when you lie, you betray yourself, you betray life. You break yourself apart. So one of the untold benefits is that you become a very honest human being. Number 2, you connect deeper with nature. And you will realize that your body is an extension of nature. That this flesh is no different than the soil that is made out of the 5 elements. Connecting deeper with nature means that you start noticing how heavy, or you may already notice how heavy and dense and tense life in the city is. When you walk into a place, you realize the difference in the energy of a space versus that in a forest, in a park, near a lake. But also you look at trees and you see them in a more beautiful way than you had before. You look at flowers, at animals, at the sky, and you have a deepened relationship with that. Deepened to the fact that it can often bring you to tears. I was never a nature person. In fact, in Toronto, I lived downtown. And after drinking medicine now, every time that I see a flower, a sunset, sunrise, that I walk, there's this subtle bliss that moves through my body. And I look at a tree and I feel that the tree is looking back. Same thing happens with your body. You start understanding what is good for it, what isn't. One of the untold benefits is that you become very discerning about what foods are good for you, what movement and physical practices are good for you, what spaces, down to the clothing. You'll see that a lot of synthetic clothing starts feeling very icky, and your body starts sweating and you feel a lot of heat and inflammation that maybe perhaps before you didn't feel. So your relationship to nature becomes deeper, and that means that your relationship with your body also becomes deeper. Which takes me to point number 3, and it's you respect yourself more. In the same way that now you feel your body a lot more, you understand, wow, this organism has been working endlessly, 24/7, from before I was born, with its only purpose to keep me alive. And it has been doing its best, not being mediocre. It's been doing its best in spite of what you have put it through, the shitty food that you have. Maybe if you drink or you abuse substances or cigarettes, in spite of that, your body is trying to keep you alive. In spite of all the stress that your mind generates for it, it's trying to keep you alive, it's trying to keep you sane, it's trying to keep you stable, it's trying to make you happy. And you realize that if this organism had a voice, it would be the most loving thing that exists. And sometimes, and we look in the mirror and think, oh, I'm losing my hair, I'm too fat, too thin, I need to inject myself with stuff in my lips to look a little bit better, I need to put myself fake boobs, fake ass. If you've done some of this is not a video to judge you, but it's to invite you to recognize that there's an organism that has profound love for you. And out of compassion, we would treat it with the same care, not put it through unnecessary procedures for the sake of validation, approval. You start respecting yourself more means that you stop drinking and eating foods that are harmful to you. It means that you treat its rest and its movement with priority. It also means that you treat your body as a temple that is sacred. If you're used to casual sex, that tends to go a lot of times when people drink medicine. They can't go back and do the same thing afterwards. not after they feel how much love is present here and how much love they have for that. Number 4, this is a side effect, not something to focus on, but your finances and relationships improve with your health as well. But ayahuasca takes you to face your fears quite often and your nonsense, as we spoke in the first point. But when you overcome your fears, you realize that you are free to create the reality that you want. And this, beyond being an empty platitude, it's an existential truth. You realize that what's holding you from living abundantly in love and in wealth, in money, it's a thought, a limiting thought, a story you have bought about who you can be and who you cannot be, how far you can grow, how much you can have, how much you can receive. So often after drinking ayahuasca, people come up with ideas, they lose their fear to transition out of careers, to explore deeper opportunities in their same career, down to receiving the invitation for a new job in the middle of a ceremony. This has happened to a close friend of mine. She was in a work she hated, and then she did some inner work, and in between ceremonies she decided to check her email, and to her surprise, her dream company had offered her a job. Not to say this will happen, but it's a possibility. And now finally you become a leader. If you do your work, people will notice without you mentioning a word of it, without you posting on Instagram that you drank medicine and you did whatever. No. People will come to you and say, wow, I've noticed how much you've changed. What are you doing? What are you drinking? What did you do? Or hey, let's go for a coffee. I want to talk to you. I see you're very radiant, very alive. I cannot count how many times this has happened to me, to people that I know, that others reach out because they notice there's some light in you. And you become a source of healing. It doesn't mean that you have to take them, invite them to drink ayahuasca, but it means that your words, your presence, the way you look at them, the way you listen, the way you walk, it all becomes medicine. People start looking up to you because they sense that you have walked some distance in your inner landscape. They sense that you have understood things about life and about yourself that perhaps they want to understand. So ayahuasca plants the seeds for you to be a leader of your family, your relationship, your community, and the people that you serve. These are the 5 untold benefits of drinking medicine. If you enjoy this, like and subscribe. If you want to come drink medicine with us in Colombia, the links are below. I'm launching a book soon, so the links are also there. Thank you so much.